HARK! We are here. It is time for yet another Star Wars Unlimited video. We've got a shorter video today. Not as many previews, one piece of art, and one thing I want to try to go over quickly at the end of the video. But that doesn't mean there's not any less cool things coming to you. That's not proper English, but we're going to use it anyway. So we've got some cool preview cards coming, some art, a little bit of discussion. There is a Fantasy Flight gaming live stream that will be airing shortly after this video itself airs. I will put a link into the description below. Make sure you check it out. That will not be covered in this video today because obviously the video was recorded before and has come out before the live stream. So I will cover anything pertinent to the live stream in the next video, and we shall see how that goes. It's just organized play so far as I can tell. 2 weeks from today, it'll be a video covering the demo decks. We might get a lot more information there, and that's pretty much it for this opener here. So let's get right into it. For our piece of art this week, we have a very interesting image here from what I believe to be Rogue One. And I know there are two of these characters, but I believe this is going to be, or this is representing benthic 2 tubes because of visual dictionary stuff and other things on Wikipedia. They do specifically dictate that this is the one that was at the market during the big Empire Rebellion Resistance whatever fight in the middle of Rogue One. This is a very interesting image here of them showing the fire back and forth. This could be a leader, this could be a unit. It's most certainly going to be at least one of those two, and I doubt an event because it does explicitly focus on a single character representation. So it'll be interesting to see what benthic himself represents within the game. If he does end up being a leader, I mean, even if he doesn't end up being a leader, I can very much see aggression with this style of character because Saw's rebels, as we know, famously aggressive characters. They are the one person's terrorist is another person's freedom fighter is usually the saying. They are definitely freedom fighters, but Saw tends to use tactics that are less than above board. So it'll be interesting to see what benthic here represents in the game. I'm excited. I actually, looking at this a lot, the fingers on the gloves I think look really good, and then this bandage here, or banding on what I can only assume is a flashlight on the underslung part of his rifle here. Very interesting design. Be very interested to see what this is moving forward. So our first card preview comes from the Unplayable YouTube channel, link in the description below to the specific video. And this card is pretty awesome. This is called Surprise Strike. It is a 2-cost cunning tactic event. It specifically says attack with a unit. It gets +3/+0 for this attack. There's a lot to unpack here. Common card number 220 out of 252. First of all, the way that this is designed means that a lot of these events, unless otherwise stated, are not going to be interrupts. They're going to be something that just occurs. So like Vanquishes, destroy a unit. Maximum firepower is target a unit, deal damage based upon 1 Imperial, deal damage based upon a 2nd Imperial to that same unit. But with this specifically, it says attack with a unit, and then it gets +3/+0 for the attack. So it's not while attacking, this does this. It's just a straight, this is my action for the turn, which also happens to be me attacking with a unit. And I think that's how they're going to want the action economy to stick to, is that yes, you'll be able to do multiple things, but it's still all going to trigger off of one specific event, and then you're going to do multiple specific things in a row. Remember with Leia, it was tap her, attack with the unit, and then attack with another rebel unit. Or with her leader, when she attacks, you may then attack with another rebel unit. I think that's fantastic. Ambush, the keyword specifically, also the same thing. Deploy, readied, attack, unit, done. It's 2 actions, but it's within one specific instance and seems to be so far uninterruptible. So I do like that it also gets 3 extra damage. And then the other thing here is this art. We already know, we actually don't know. You'll see in a second. Krennic here is a vigilance style character, which again, like I said, you'll see in a second. And then we don't know Cassian yet, but given that he's on this card as and it is a cunning card, I imagine Cassian himself, either as a leader or as a unit, will be cunning as well. And we saw this before with Star Wars Destiny, where Jyn Erso was the red military and Cassian Andor was the yellow scum. There was never really any definition, as far as I know, to blue, red, and yellow in Star Wars Destiny. If I'm wrong, please feel free to throw that in the comments below. It's been a long time since I've really focused on Star Wars Destiny, but this could also inform us a little bit in the future about what Cassian himself is going to be typed in terms of aspects. I definitely think we're going to see a cunning Caspian, and interestingly enough, depending on the time, could be cunning villainy, but probably will either be just flat cunning or cunning heroism. This is a fantastic card. I can already see really neat things associated with cunning if they're to keep getting things like this. And since we've seen Leia's cunning non-leader unit, she taps down a resource or readies a resource. So there's a lot of different things that cunning might be able to do that really fits the name, the aspected name, cunning. And I think that's pretty cool. Our next preview comes by way of the official FFG Twitter, Unlimited FFG, and it is a new leader showcasing to us some other mechanics that will show up in Star Wars Unlimited, especially in the first set, Spark of Rebellion. And this one's a doozy. This one's going to be very interesting to see how other cards will interact with this leader's effect. So we have here Director Krennic, who is a Vigilance Villainy leader, Imperial Officer. Epic action is 5 resources or more, much like our command heroism, Leia. His ability is each friendly damaged unit gets +1/+0. He is a common and he's 0/0/1 out of 252. And his other side is a 2/7, which we'll go ahead and boom. 5 cost, Vigilance, Villainy, Leader Unit Ground, Imperial Officer, 2 power, 7 health, Restore 2. Each friendly damage unit gets +1/+0. So Krennic is going to give all of your friendly damaged units +1/+0, regardless of whether he's on the board as a leader or on the board as a leader unit. But when he's on the board as a leader unit, when he attacks, which he'll be able to do if he survives the next activation, which at 7 power, you need a lot to deal with him or to just vanquish him. But just don't let your opponent do that. When he attacks, he'll heal 2 damage from your base. So that is effectively, if you attack your opponent's base, a 4 health swing. It's not technically strictly a 4 health swing, but it does give you a little bit more room to be able to work with by healing your base 2 and dealing 2 damage to your opponent's base. So far, the Imperial units that we've seen, the TIE Fighter, the 2 Stormtroopers, with the exception of Vader, they've all been low health. And the probe droid, and not really capable of tanking damage to make use of this effect. But from previous card previews, and even Krennic himself, we know Vigilance got the big butt. And since this is our first example of Vigilance villainy, we might see more Imperials who have the big butt. Reminder, Krennic himself, friendly, so he becomes a 3/7 if he's damaged. Or 3 power and then whatever health he has remaining. This is going to be a very interesting style of gameplay that might even be more control based, where you're willing to suffer the damage from different things that are coming at you to be able to tag back, or even better, tag something first and then have that extra power to block your opponent from eliminating the unit without trading something of its own, depending on what the opponent has. So I think this style of deck is going to be very different than the Luke Vigilance Heroism that we've seen, because that one relies on shields and this one relies on basically just a bunch of big health things to be able to deal a little bit of extra damage. We'll see if +1/+0 is a huge factor in terms of making Krennic playable, or if it's just a little thing that might not be able to push this style above. Too early to tell. It's one of those things that we've got, what, 20, we're not 25 cards, I think, total known about the set. We might see things that are very strong, and compared to each other, you might see something that's a little bit stronger than average. But again, you're also going up against cards that we see that might not be as good as other cards in the set. It is very early to describe or specifically say in any situation that the game is broken, because we only have 10-ish, less than 10% of the card pool. And to say anything to the effect of this game's busted is not correct, just clearly not correct. In our last segment of the day, we're going to showcase 2 specific pieces of tech that are being utilized by two different groups. They might merge together, I'm not entirely sure, but I did want to showcase both of them because it came to my attention that there was more than one being done as of yesterday. And we have what are known as databases on the internet, and there's two different ones, ForceDB and SWUDB. Now, right now, they can be construed as effectively the same thing, but they do different things, and we'll go over those really quick. So here we have ForceDB that showcases currently every spoiler available that we have of cards that are official, shown to us by FFG or sources given to content creators by FFG themselves. You can see we've got all of our leaders up here, including our Krennic that we previewed in this episode. We also have all of our units and stuff like that, our surprise strike that we talked about this episode as well, and all the other lovely different things, including 2 extra tokens, which I believe I went over last week. And yeah, so there's a couple different things here. You can check out articles, you can check out videos, you can check out resources. This is independently run by someone named Moonlife on the Star Wars Unlimited Discord, and they are running this mostly by themselves. I think they gave some permissions to other people. Moonlife is looking for more people to help work on this site. If you're interested, that is a thing. Right now, it's basically just a good place to come down and check spoilers. Our other site, SWUDB, is being run by CitizenKeen, also of the Star Wars Unlimited Discord, and it's a lot less stuff available right on the front page, you know, as you just get in here. But this is very similar to the way that I've seen the Marvel Champions and the old Star Wars Destiny databases, where you can just type a card. So if I typed in Leia, it would show me 2 different Leias. Keen has these listed as unit side first instead of leader side first, which will be confusing unless you look at the top. Something that may be changed in the future, I don't know. But the other cool thing is with the syntax guide, you can actually look up very specific things like abilities, aspects, hit points, and power types, traits, so on and so forth. So if I want to look up specifically aggression units, I do C aggression, T units, and that showcases to us the 2 units that we know of, specifically units, the Death Star Stormtrooper and the Imperial Interceptor. If I were to just say villainy instead, we would get all of the ones: Tarkin, Death Star Trooper, Imperial Interceptor, TIE Line Fighter, Viper Probe Droid, and the Cell Block Guard. So you can do a lot of different searches, as there is supposedly a search function coming for this site, but this site specifically, SWDB, right now has better current functionality, although when SOR fully releases, both sites will probably be about the same if they don't merge. You can just flat out look at the Rebellion, Spark of Rebellion spoilers here. They're all available. And then SWDB does at the bottom have Star Wars Unlimited and the community Discord links, as well as a disclaimer on the bottom. Both of those are excellent sources. They will both be available in the comments below. Pick and choose as you want. This isn't going to be a situation like I did with the subreddit, where I pick one subreddit and that's the official thing. It was weird to see that there were 2 databases to start off with, but right now they do functionally different things. One has a search, the other one is just the page of spoilers. I imagine once all of the community members come together, we'll be able to see some cool stuff as it relates to that. So that is fantastic. And that is it for today's episode. A short one. There weren't as many things to talk about or as many things to preview. The last week was kind of slow in terms of previews. Only one creator preview and only one, I'm not flipping you off, one FFG preview. But as I said in the beginning of this video, there is a stream today that should be happening. You can go check that out right after this video. I'll link to the stream in the description below. You can check that out and head over to FFG's coverage of, I believe these are the more organized play mechanics when it comes to Star Wars Unlimited. None of that is going to be covered in this video, obviously, but I will cover it in the next video for the next week. I'm excited. That surprise strike, dope. Super dope card. Cunning is going to be a very interesting aspect. I'm thinking personally, Command Cunning might be the play to go for my style of gameplay. Get dudes out, do shenanigans with dudes, and then just go. But who knows? I do have a bunch of proxies printed out. My little Game Nights deck box here. So at some point in time, I still want, we need 3 more villainy cards in order to be able to run villainy properly. But I'd also like to see, sorry, one more villainy card that we can do 3 copies of for a 30 card deck. And then the same thing if I wanted to run Leia, Dagobah Swamp, so Command Vigilance as a deck, we would need at least one more Command, Heroism, or Vigilance card to be able to run 30 cards without having to run aspect penalty cards. But you could even still do that. That's not that big of a deal. Anyway, that's it. We're done. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I am excited again, as I'm always excited. There's a lot of things going on. I'm constantly, you know, trying to figure things out that are going on within the community, who's doing what, what's doing where. So hopefully you guys can all keep up with everything that's going on. I want to thank all of you very, very, very much for the support you've given me for these videos. Obviously, I hadn't been putting out a lot of YouTube content other than like one small video and then my Final Fantasy 14 things, which are kind of, they're private. They're not gone, they're just private. But you all have definitely given me a lot of support, and I very much appreciate that. The more support that I get, the more I want to do these things. I want to do this stuff anyway, but at the same time, it gives me the motivation to keep going, right? Like and comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for the notifications, stupid YouTube crap. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. We'll see you all in the next video, and with that, I'll see you all in the stars.